Hello students, welcome to grade 7 English class. And in this grammar session today, we are going to continue with the pronouns, attempting some interesting exercises. So hold your book and please do the exercises with me. Let's discuss them at length one by one. So a question says, underline and write the pronouns and their kinds from the given paragraph. So there is a paragraph given from where you have to underline. There are two paragraphs given actually. So in both the paragraphs you have to underline the pronouns and state their kind. So let's do it as I read it for you. Life was very comfortable for me. In this sentence, what do you find? Which is the pronoun? Me. And it is actually a personal pronoun in the objective case. When I was 1 year old, I had many puppies. In this entire sentence, you see I 2 times. That is a personal pronoun, right? And it is a subjective case here. When they grew up, they is again a personal pronoun used for the plural third person, in the third person. So, a group of people. So, they, you have to underline and write personal pronoun again. They also went to their new homes. Now, T-H-E-I-R, there is what? It is a possessive case here because it is showing the possession of home by them, right? I wonder if they were as fortunate as I was. So, you find I and they, and both are actually the personal pronouns, right? In the subjective cases. Now, paragraph second. So, please underline all the pronouns and state their kind. Huma has gone abroad for higher studies. You see no pronoun in this sentence. I am 9 years old. I, again, it's actually the personal pronoun, right? I often dream of her. Now, you see two pronouns here. I is a singular, it's actually personal pronoun. And her is what? It is also a personal pronoun but used as object. So, objective case. I is subjective case and her is objective case. She comes on holidays to her parents. Again, she is a personal pronoun in subjective case and her is a personal pronoun in objective case. Her is also here the possessive case because you can see another noun sitting after that. She spends hours playing with me. Again, she is the personal pronoun in the subjective case and me is the personal pronoun in the objective case here. I wish all friends were lucky as I am. Again, I is a personal pronoun. Those were the days. Now here, those were the days. It is which kind of pronoun? If you remember, it is actually demonstrative pronoun. So you will underline those and you will write demonstrative pronoun. This, that, these, those are demonstrative pronouns. I enjoyed a lot. I, the personal pronoun. She met all the friends whom she knew. Right? So when you do she, you know that she is the personal pronoun again. And when you come on to whom, right, which is actually connecting the two things. So here it becomes the relative pronoun. So whom she knew is actually the relative pronoun. She herself called us for this wonderful meeting. She is the personal pronoun, but when we underline herself, we know it is emphatic or emphasizing pronoun used in this sentence, right? When this self word, himself, herself, their self, myself, when these self words come immediately after the pronoun, right? So two pronouns coming together. So this is actually used to emphasize on the action by the person or the thing. Hence they are emphasizing pronoun. Fine. Now let's do exercise B, where we have to rewrite the sentences which are given here using correct pronouns. So just underline the incorrect one and correct them and write it on the line which is given below. So the first sentence says, "These is my best friend." So what are you going to do? You are going to replace these, which is an incorrect usage here, and you will write he is or she is my best friend. So you can actually replace it with he or she or this. You can actually introduce your friend as in this is my best friend. That will be the demonstrative pronoun and he and she will be the personal pronoun. So you can just correct it in any way and you can also state in the bracket that I'm using demonstrative pronoun or the personal pronoun. This is totally your wish. Right? Ankur took a photograph of herself. Ankur is a name of a boy. Right? So herself, which is actually a reflexive pronoun here, is incorrectly used. So for boy, we will use himself. So it will be Ankur took a photograph of himself. Fine. Now the third sentence says, I got first seat ourselves. So here you have to see I is actually a singular one, right? It is a pronoun. It is a personal pronoun used in singular form. So it cannot go with ourselves. Ourselves is actually used with we, personal pronoun, because it is used in plural form. So for I, you will convert it into myself, right? So for I goes as in myself, right? So you just underline it or cross it and rewrite the sentence replacing ourselves with myself. Then comes Rinky designs all of her dresses himself. Now you can understand by reading the gender, Rinky is a name of a girl. So the reflexive pronoun which is used here at the end of the sentence for this girl is absolutely incorrect. So what will you do? You will simply go ahead and correct it by replacing himself with herself, right? So Rinky designs all her dresses herself. Himself will become herself. Okay? Then comes, she is one of my family members. So here, what do you see? Here, do you find any incorrect pronoun? She is one of my family members. There is no correction required because this sentence can go as it is. There is nothing wrong. It can be he is one of my family members or she is one of my family members. So this sentence is absolutely correct when it comes to spotting out the wrong pronouns. There is no wrong pronoun used in this sentence, so you can just leave it as is and rewrite it as it is. Then comes, I want to eat an apple. They are ripe, right? So in this sentence also, can you see anything wrongly used? I want to eat an apple. They are ripe. Yes, absolutely. There is the mistake is with, error is with the singular and the plural thing. So in the first chunk of the sentence, they say, I want to eat an apple, right? So when we say an apple, right? So can we use they for an apple? No, we cannot. So what will we say? It is ripe. So you will remove they are totally and you will write it is, right? So it is a personal pronoun which will replace the personal pronoun they in the second chunk of this sentence, right? So the sentence will become, I want to eat an apple, full stop, it is ripe. Then your sentence will be absolutely correct. Seventh sentence says, you herself called me up for a party. It is an emphasizing pronoun, as you can see this. But with you, can you use herself? You herself called me for a party? No. You yourself called me for a party, right? So with you, which reflexive, which emphasizing pronoun you will use? Yourself. So this sentence, after cutting himself or herself, which is wrongly used here in this sentence, you will replace it with correct emphasizing pronoun, that is yourself. So you yourself called me for a party, right? Then the last sentence says, Simi bought a pen itself. Now you know, Simi is a girl, right? And for girl, we do not use itself. What do we use? Herself. That is reflexive pronoun used here. So this reflexive pronoun will be changed with herself. Then what will be your sentence like? Your sentence will be like, Simi bought a pen herself. Simi bought a pen herself. I hope you have attempted this exercise B with me. Now let's fill up the blanks in the exercise C to understand which suitable pronoun will take place in the blanks to go with the sentence which is written here in exercise C. So let's read one by one. Tanvi is angry with dash for her mistake. Now Tanvi is angry with what? With her, him, herself, himself, me, what? Now you have to notice it is about a third person, Tanvi. And we are also using the third person pronoun, that is her mistake. Hence, we will use the reflexive pronoun to emphasize on the action by Tanvi, as in Tanvi is angry with herself for her mistake. Do you understand? How do we understand the tone of the sentence to put in the correct word in the blank which is missing in the sentence, right? So a reflexive pronoun herself will be used to fill up this blank, right? So it will become Tanvi is angry with herself for her mistake. Okay? Now the second sentence. I fell from the staircase and heard. Now it is about the first person personal pronoun, I. When you are hurting yourself, see, with you, yourself, I, myself, she, herself, he, himself, it, itself, it automatically comes, right, when it is actually in the practice of being used in the correct context, right? So in this sentence, I fell from the staircase and hurt myself. It is the reflexive pronoun used in the sentence to actually reflect upon the action by the first person personal pronoun, that is I. Okay, so the sentence will become, I fell from the staircase and hurt myself. Okay, now the third one. They dash enjoyed in the park. Now they is the third person pronoun used in plural context, right? So what are you supposed to do? You have to actually emphasize on the action by the people who are actually enjoying in the park. They have enjoyed in the park, right? So with they, which reflexive pronoun or which emphasizing pronoun are you going to use? Themselves, right? And see, notice, since it is plural, so it will not be themselves. Self is used for the singular. So it will actually become themselves, right? Here also, like half becomes halves, right? H-A-L-F, half becomes in plural halves, H-A-L-V-E-S. Hence, this themselves will be incorrect because self is actually the singular notation. So, to convert it into plural notation, we will say themselves, ourselves, right? So, V-E-S actually used for the plural context. So, here in this sentence, it will be themselves. And how will the sentence complete? They themselves enjoyed in the park, right? So, it is actually emphasizing on the action of the people that they themselves enjoyed in the park. Do you understand the tone and the mood also of the sentence? The train, then the next sentence. The train dash came to a halt. Halt means to stop, right? So nobody is stopping it. Nobody is actually putting the train onto a halt. It is coming. What is coming to you? It is a thing. It is not a man. It is not a female, right? So no gender pronouns to be used here. No herself or himself, right? This is not a personal pronoun as in used in the first person. So no myself, no you, the second person, personal pronoun. It is a train, it is a thing. So what will come? Itself, which is again is the emphasizing pronoun to be used here in this sentence to to emphasize on the action by the train. So train itself came to a halt, right? Nobody actually stopped it. Nobody actually put it, on a halt. It itself came to a halt, right? So itself is actually the emphasizing pronoun to be used in this particular sentence. Then comes we dash went to the auditorium without any guardian, right? We is actually the first person pronoun but used for the plural, group of people in the first person, right? When we use like that of the themselves, which emphasizing pronoun will you be using to fill up this blank? You will be using ourselves. So we is actually a subjective case, and when we have to use the objective case for we say our, right? O-U-R, our. But since our and we, they are plural, so we will write ourselves, right? Again, the plural context, right? So the sentence will form as we ourselves went to auditorium without any guardian. Fine. Emphasizing pronoun used after we, that is ourselves, right? Went to the auditorium without any guardian. Now the next sentence. It says, I often see my grandfather talking to. I often see my grandfather talking to. So grandfather is the masculine gender, right? And it is actually referring to reflect upon his action. When I say reflect upon his action, it means reflexive pronoun to be used at the end of the sentence. So it will be, I often see my grandfather talking to himself. What will you write? Himself, right? You know why? Because grandfather is a masculine gender, right? The male, and for it you will write him, and to make it a reflexive pronoun you will simply write as himself, right? So we have done exercise C. Now we have to do exercise D, where you have to join and rewrite the given sentences using relative pronouns, right? You remember who, that, which, whose, whom. These are all the relative pronouns which are used to connect two ideas together, two people, actions together, you can say, right? So let's do it. The doctor is a famous physician. We have sent you to him. So how would you like to connect it? You can connect it, in a very simple form, like the doctor to whom we have sent you is a famous physician. The doctor to whom we have sent you is a famous physician. Or you can write the doctor who is a famous physician, comma, we have sent you to him, right? But it's not that appropriate. So appropriate is the first one. The doctor who is a famous physician, right? We have sent you to. Simple as that. So you will just remove him and you will simply write the doctor who is a famous physician, we have sent you to, right? Or we have sent you to a doctor who is a famous physician. So this is the most appropriate that sounds. The doctor, we have sent you to the doctor who is a famous physician. So again, what? We have sent you to the doctor who is a famous physician, right? This is how you will add these two sentences with the help of the who. So we have sent you to the doctor who is a famous physician. Simple as that. So you know how to connect it. This I have emphasized again and again for you to understand how would you connect these two sentences together. How will you put them together with the help of a relative pronoun. Now let's try to do it with the second sentence. It says, every man hates the man tells a lie. So what would you use here? Every man who lies is hated by the everyman, right? Or every man hates the man who lies. So which one do you think is most appropriate? The second one, right? You simply just go ahead right? And add who and lies in the end, which is the action. So every man hates the man who lies. How will you go about it? Every man hates the man who lies, right? So you have to remove the full stop after the first sentence, add relative pronoun in between, remove unnecessary repetition of the pronouns, which are the personal pronouns or the nouns, and then add the action to make it a simple one sentence, right? Now the third one. The flowers are still fresh. I plucked them last night. So how can you convert this sentence, these two sentences in one simple sentence using one relative pronoun? So you can say the flowers which I plucked last night are still fresh, right? Which is actually used for the things. So how will you write? The flowers which I plucked last night are still fresh. Simple as that, right? Now let's do the fourth one. All is true, I said so. So you can simply write, all that I said is true. All that I said is true. So you have to remove so, the full stop after the first one, and simply add that. All that I said is true. Simple as that, right? Then comes, that is the place I like to go, right? So what you can do, because that is already used here, right, as a relative pronoun. So you can simply remove the full stop after the first sentence and you can write, that is the place which I like to go, right? So you will connect these two sentences with the help of the relative pronoun which. So that is the place which I like to go. Simple as that, right? Now let's do the last exercise, E, by filling up the blanks with suitable pronouns. Here any type of pronoun can come. We have done the reflexive, relative, demonstrative, possessive, personal, right? So let's see that each sentence with the nature, which pronoun will best suit. First sentence says, my mother taught dash to me to stitch. Right? It says actually, my mother taught dash to stitch. So it's my mother, right? The possessive case of the pronoun my mother, right? Because mother belongs to me. Hence, who she has taught to stitch? Me. You can simply go ahead and write, my mother taught me to stitch, right? That is the objective case of personal pronoun. The second sentence says, I'm hungry. I would like to have some food to be served to. Definitely you are hungry. I am hungry. So the food will be served to me only. Simple as that. There is no rigor, right? So I am hungry. I would like some food to be served to me. Simple. So me, personal pronoun in objective case. We are bored. We find dash confined here. Now it's we. Again, ourselves, So here it is actually the reflexive pronoun to be used here. We find ourselves confined. Confined means, chained, or you can say caged. Confined as in bound from, all the sides. I mean, you're not allowed to go, housebound, right? When you're not allowed to go because they are bored. They're sitting on one certain place. So we have to focus on what? The pronoun. So it says we are bored. We find ourselves confined here. We find ourselves caged here, right? So ourselves is actually the appropriate reflexive pronoun to be used in this sentence. Now fourth one says, you look worried. Is dash wrong? Which pronoun will come? Simply, it is actually the pronoun which is used as the descriptive here, right? Descriptor. So you look worried. Is something wrong, right? You ask like this only, right? Is something which is actually an indefinite pronoun here, right? Why do you use indefinite? Because something is something, right? It is not known. It can be anything. It is not limiting to a particular concept. It is not limiting to a particular idea. It is something which is not known, which is the reason why it is called as indefinite pronoun. So what will you use in this sentence? Something. right? That is an indefinite pronoun. Now the last sentence says, Sheetal and I are going out. Some friends are meeting. Now there are two people, yes, Sheetal and I, right? So which pronoun will you use? Us, right? It simple goes as in that our friends are meeting us at the Lodhi garden, right? So this sentence will complete with the personal pronoun in objective case, that is us, and it will be like Sheetal and I are going out. Some friends are meeting us at Lodhi garden. So here we are done with all the exercises related to our pronouns in different types, in different kinds. I hope you will practice them regularly to brush up all the skills, right? All the types of pronouns, beginning from personal pronouns, I, you, we, they, he, she, it, in subjective case, me, mine, us, right? Them, his, her, him. In the objective case, right? And then demonstrative, this, that, these, those, right? And then you use reflexive, herself, ourselves, themselves, himself, right? Itself, reflexive cases. And when these self cases, self pronouns are used right after the pronoun in subjective case, they become the emphatic or the emphasizing pronouns, right? So with the rigorous exercises done here with the pronouns, I end this session here, and next time we'll meet to learn a new concept in our English grammar class. Till that time, take care. Thank you.